Okay, Disney Plus has Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and I think it's time I did a 10-minute rant about it. Okay, it's Spider-Man, and here's the thing about seeing these superhero things. We're gonna see them again and again and again, aren't we? And the thing is, the best part about this is when you can take a character that has decades worth of backstory and then you can sort of condense it and really get the really good parts out. And I think this is why movie characters like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and even the Ninja Turtles are constantly rebooted over and over again. The chief complaint I'm hearing about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is the origin is really flipped. And part of it is how the origin of the radioactive spider that bites Peter. Now, they did keep that as an element. They could have easily have done something else, and sometimes they have done that in cases, but usually radioactive spider, it starts with that, right? I'm not sure. But, I mean, it starts out where Peter goes to his school and the portal to the multiverse sort of shows up, for lack of a better term. And Doctor Strange comes in and starts fighting what looks to be a variation of Venom in a way. And from there, yeah, and here's the thing, Peter doesn't recognize Doctor Strange, which is weird because this show has revealed in universe that Iron Man and Captain America definitely exist. So I'm not really certain what direction they're going with, but I actually heard that the script to Into the Spider-Verse originally had a lot of Doctor Strange in it, but they really, they kind of shelved that, and that's fine. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man seem to be getting paired a lot, at least in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hey, it's their new Spider-Man, so they can decide what they want to do with it. So Peter gets bitten by the spider, and then it just cuts to like a few weeks or months later where he's already got the outfit and he's swinging through the city. Now, I will say this about Peter swinging through the city. It looks so great. There's something about the animation of this that just works. I don't know. It looks better than the spider cam footage that we all remember from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's better than that. And it looks so, and it really draws you in. I have to admit, like, wow. So Peter's outfit is the usual, like, I don't know, that clumped together thing that is always like, essentially, Peter's not a good cosplayer at this point, so he doesn't have the actual outfit. I'm told he gets this new white outfit, because I've seen, like, things of that show up, so yeah, that's that. So in their ability to retell this origin, they've taken out an important point. Uncle Ben. Now, if you know anything about Spider-Man, you know that his origin is, Uncle Ben is very crucial to his origin because, you know, if in the story, Spider-Man has a chance to stop a random thief who he could easily have stopped by just tripping him or something like that, but he chooses not to because at the time, Spider-Man was trying to use his abilities to become a celebrity. And it just, and then this criminal ended up killing his Uncle Ben. So ever since that happened, he sort of realized like, oh my gosh, I've been selfish and I needed to devote my life to using this great power for great responsibility. And this is what makes Spider-Man very different from a lot of superheroes because he is motivated by guilt. And the thing is, the Peter Parker that's shown in this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is shown as being a good guy, and Peter is a good guy. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. Because I believe that when Peter got his powers, it went to his head. He had spent his entire life being bullied and put down for being essentially a smart guy who was into science. And he wanted to use these powers to get fame and money and get himself out of poverty. And when he realized that what absurd goal that was, he decided to devote his life fighting against injustice. And that is a really interesting, that's always a really good thing that motivates Spider-Man versus Superman or Batman, is the fact that he is essentially a guy who had something tragic happen to him that he's never really gotten over. And there are several times in which Spider-Man has decided to quit the thing because he realizes, like, maybe I'm doing this for all the wrong reasons. But he usually comes back to doing it for the right reasons, which is just, well, fighting against evil. Hey, what can you say? I will say that this show kind of is really going out of its way to try certain different things. Norman Osborn appears on the show, and the way he appears is very obviously framed as the scene from Captain America Civil War, where Peter arrives home at his apartment with Aunt May, and there's a sports car waiting in the front, and when he gets up there, he's super impressed by the guest they have over, but instead of this being Tony Stark, as it was in Captain America Civil War, it's Norman Osborn. And he's been race swapped. For some reason, he's a black guy. I have no idea why they decided to go with that. But and then here's the thing. They have introduced Harry on this show already, who's kind of the only major Spider-Man character besides Aunt May who seems to exist in this world. Because they have introduced a character named Nico, or Nikos, I don't really remember her name, but she is a character from a Marvel series called Runaways, which is kind of weird that she's there. They've also introduced a character named Lonnie London, who is the high school quarterback, who's very nice to Peter, and I believe he later becomes the villain known as Tombstone. Now, I had to look that one up. Or I found that out about that the other day. I don't really know much about Tombstone, and I grew up reading certain Spider-Man comics, but by the time I stopped reading them, Tombstone had been introduced. And Tombstone you can actually see in the movie Into the Spider-Verse as a bodyguard for the Kingpin, and he's kind of have a very, very light white or gray skin, and I don't know, he's probably going to have one of those things where he has an accent and becomes like a villain because, well, most Marvel villains kind of have that origin. So Norman Osborn is introduced in the first episode, and I'm going to get into some heavy spoilers here in the last few minutes, but in episode 2, Spider-Man goes to work as an intern in Oscorp, and from there you kind of see that he's introduced to a gender-swapped Curtis Connors, who eventually becomes the Lizard, has the one arm, and when I saw that, I'm going like, oh yeah, that's the Lizard, and I'm kind of going like, are we going to introduce all these Spider-Man villains this way? Is Dr. Octavius going to come out and be like, I don't know, Samoan or something like that? Here's the thing, I don't care about the whole race swap thing. I mean, they can do as many race swaps as they want to, and they can even race swap Spider-Man if they want to. And hey, if you're trying to be different, have a good reason for being different on that. And I think I'd like to hear about more of the origin of Norman Osborn and Harry, who, I don't know, I actually kind of did a search on this, because when I first saw Harry, I went like, Harry appears to be transgender. That's what I'm getting out of this. Now, here's the deal. I mean, I did a search for, is Harry transgender on this new show? All I got was a bunch of Reddit posts basically saying, is Harry transgender? And of course, I don't know if I really want to buy Reddit as sort of a source for this. I don't know if that's the direction where they're going, and honestly, I'm not the best person to talk about transgenderism because I don't really know all that much about it, and yeah, my ignorance is on display and has been on display in several posts I've done and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the direction they're going, but if they want to go that direction, that's fine. I think there's a lot of stories they can do about that. So the fact that Spider-Man doesn't seem to have a Gwen Stacy, there doesn't seem to be a Mary Jane, there doesn't seem to be a Flash Thompson, there's all these side characters that are just kind of not there yet. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe we'll see those guys. Maybe we'll not see them. Now, for the final spoiler. Yes, it turns out that at the end of episode 2, Norman Osborn finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. And this is something that he's figured out before he becomes the Green Goblin. So I don't know what direction they're possibly going there. That maybe Norman is going to help him become a better Spider-Man. And when he does, he's going to be a mentor figure that betrays him and becomes Green Goblin. Maybe they're not going to go that direction. I don't know. I'm curious about this, so I'm going to keep watching this. And you should watch it too if you like Spider-Man.